Okay, we are starting lesson 13, and the topic this week is giving back. It's a perfect time of year to focus on this. I wanted to take a second to show you, I talked about this in my note this week. I hope that video I shared for my spiritual thought last week that kicks off this initiative to bring light and be the light unto the world. And so the church is asking us to follow Christ's example for 25 days to do 25 acts of service. And I love how you can follow the date and it gives you ideas. So say for Monday, December 5th, Jesus healed the sick and so can you. So you would click there, it has a video, and then 3 ways to get involved. So it gives 3 ideas. Give blood at a local blood bank, sign up to be an organ donor, resolve to pray daily for loved ones who are sick. So if you're not sick, pray for those that are. It also has other suggestions. And so I love the focus this time of year on bringing that light, the light of Christ into the world. So I thought that was a great connection to our focus this week on giving back. So if we're working on doing that, I challenge you to go to that site if you have not. I have the link in my note. The application activity for this week, because I want to get to some other things, I'm not going to go through the objectives so you can when it shows the getting started for this week. But one thing you're going to do is ask yourself these questions that President Clark poses for a self-assessment, which is looking at myself and seeing, ask myself these questions honestly. So you aren't answering these by typing them, but just ask yourself, are you overly critical of others? Do you look down on others? So read each of these and decide, like it says here, decide on 2 items, okay? So I want you to think about where you're at, like up here, based on your entitlement. That's really the focus a lot this week is we might not see ourselves as feeling entitled, like I have the right to things, or that's kind of the feeling of entitlement. And sometimes I think, yeah, I'm not entitled, but as you ask yourself some of these questions, take an honest look and think, maybe I do act that way sometimes or think that way sometimes, even if I don't say it. Do you ever seek special treatment for yourself? Do I think I should be treated special or different than others? And so what I want you to do is look at all these questions and like if I find that, do you care too much about indicators of status and rank? Maybe I worry too much about money or being above others. Then here are some things I can read that are related to that question number 3. Do you see these 3 that are related to question 3? So I'm going to click on those and explore those, and I'm going to pick 2. Okay, here's my 2. Pick 2 items. So make sure not just 1, you need to have 2 or more. And then take notes as you watch 2 or more. Because you'll download a template. My template's hidden under my screen. I think it disappeared. 1 second. I downloaded it and I don't know where it went. Okay, I will just download it again. Sorry, I had it already. So download that. Okay, and once you download it, you'll just go ahead and answer the questions. What was the title of your first selection? Because you had to do 2. And type my answer right in there. And then it says, what's the title of your second one? Put it and answer the questions. And then answer number 5 and 6. Save it and upload it to that application activity spot. And that is essentially, so then you'd go on to the activity submission. That's where you upload your finished template. Once again, make sure it's a Word doc so I can open it. So it should be saved as DOC. So that is our application activity. Like I said in my note, this is our last week. It's not our last week, but it's the last week of regular assignments, regular discussion boards, application activity, because the last week, so we have this full week, and then starting Monday, December 12th. That will be our last week because December 15th is our very last day of class. It's your last gathering, and that's when all your assignments are due. So check the calendar and make sure you're clicking on this calendar and seeing what's due and when. That's a hard, fast deadline. That means I don't accept anything past because I have to get grades submitted. And so when things are submitted late, I can't. The other thing to make sure is in my note I talk about the practice quiz for the final exam. The practice exam can be done as many times as you want. So that can be started on the 8th. You can start accessing that. So you can click into that and it's in the Lesson 14 folder. I hope that's clear. I will show you just in case it's not. Okay. So if you come down here and you'll see Lesson 14 begins December 8th. Okay, so you can get into that folder starting with December 8th of this week. So once you click on there, it will show you your final exam practice test directions. And it shows you when things are due. Like the practice test starts December 8th. So you can start practicing. And then it shows you when things are due. And the final exam you can get into December 11th. Okay. So that's a Saturday night you can start. So you have Saturday night until the next Thursday night. So we only have less than 2 weeks left of class. So I am so proud of where you guys have come and how far you've gotten. You're almost done with your first semester in this program. So to wrap up, I just want to do a quick English tip. I'm going to hide my face for a second so we can focus. One thing is remembering your punctuation. These are the conventions of your sentences. And make sure you are starting with a capital and ending complete thoughts with punctuation, so it's not just one long sentence that never stops. So, like here, this is one long sentence. I like to go around helping people. When I look around, I can see who is in need. I feel so proud when I help others. I have friends that could use some help, so I will seek this week if I can help them out. That's there are a lot of sentences inside that one long one, so it can be broken up. I like to go around helping people. That's a complete thought. So I can actually stop right there and put a period. Because that makes sense. I have I in the noun. What do? I like. Okay. Helping is another verb in there. So if I'm going to start a new sentence, I need to make sure that this new sentence starts with a capital letter. So I'm going to change that to red. Show you it needs to be when I look around, I can see who is in need. I feel proud. So that sounds like I'm starting a new idea because it's different than when I look around, I can see who is in need. So I'm going to end right there with a period. And I should never have I by its, or lowercase if it's by itself, even if it's in the middle of a sentence. So I'll show you that. So I always start a sentence with capital, but especially I's should never be lowercase if they're by themselves. I feel proud when I help others. That sounds like a complete thought because I'm going on to talk about friends. I feel proud when I help others. I feel proud is my verb, so I'm going to end that sentence with a period. Start another sentence with a capital I. I have friends that could use some help, so I will see this week if I can help them out. That could be one sentence. I could probably use a comma. I have friends that could use some help. So I will seek this week if I can help them out. This word so, it's called a conjunction. It's a word that connects two complete thoughts. So it's complete. It's connecting this thought with this thought. You can use a comma to separate it. So there's a short pause. I have friends that could use some help, so I will seek this week if I can help them out. And this I right here, it should not be lowercase. And you'll see when you use word, it underlines it, meaning, uh-oh, it tells me when I have problems. So make sure you're watching for those squiggly underlined, there's green or red, and check and see. I right-click and it gives me some suggestions. It should be a capital I because it's by itself. Any I can't stand alone and be lowercase. It needs to be capital. This is another conjunction. It's connecting the thought. I like to help others. I can be happy with the conjunction so right in between. We have the sentence, how are you? We don't just leave that by itself. Do you see how it's underlining it in green? That's a grammar error. And if your computer lets you do this, you can right click, or I'm on a Mac and I double click it with 2 fingers at once and it shows me the suggestion. I can either ignore what they're suggesting, but I would recommend you follow what they're saying because they're almost always right. How are you? So there's my question mark. I'm asking a question. And I would respond instead of I am fine. Do you see how I started to type I? I don't know if you could tell that I did it lowercase. And sometimes that first time it fixed it for me. But if it doesn't, it underlines it and lets me know I need to be capitalized. Okay? I hope that's helpful as you are working to make sure your sentences are have the correct grammar, but our focus today was the correct conventions, which are capitals and punctuation marks. And then the grammar is making sure that our sentences are complete sentences and not running on. They're called run-on sentences when it's many sentences mixed in just one long sentence. They can usually be broken up into complete ideas and thoughts in their own sentence. So I hope that was helpful. Have a wonderful week, and you are almost done. Way to go. Let me know if you have any questions as we get to the end with assignments or anything else. Okay, bye you guys.